Yeah.
Right, go on, you start your commentary.
All right, okay, I'm sorry. It's very small, the belt. We'll measure that exactly in a minute. I've got my ruler on me here now so I can show you briefly. So it's roughly 95 mil across there, and then from top to bottom it's 100 mil there, 10 centimetres across there, and this is a hexagonal shape, and each side of this hexagon is probably going to be about the same, so I would say this one's easy to measure. So that would be, what, 55 mil, 5 centimetres. So we're looking at 2 inches basically. I reckon they're 2-inch sides, because they're just over 5 centimetres each.
But that's longer.
Or about, that one's about 6, and that one's 4.5. So the top one is 4.5. That one there, I would say, is 6. So it's 4.5 the top, 6, 6, and then I'd say, what, 5.5, and then what do we say, 5 there, so it's not exact, is it, at all? And then this one down here is 5 again, so we're talking 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, and then what, 4.5 on the top one, aren't we really there? Yeah, and then you can see
To measure this.
how it's stitched to here, you know, that's a very rough stitching on the outside of there. This would be not much wider than the rest of it. I'm not sure if that opens out or not, if we can see that. No. We might be able to see the back. Is it okay to pick this up, do you think? Yeah, you do that, yeah? Okay. Maybe we could see if the stitching comes through the bottom, or if there's been some kind of a lid, because normally we'd expect a kind of fold over lid over the top. Right, okay, so we can see where the stitching, where the string is that holds the purse together, coming out the back there, and you can see the rough stitching around the edge there as well. There's no evidence of this ever having any kind of a lid over the top of it, any kind of strap lid, which normally you would expect there to be, unless it's worn off there and it was part of this piece. But even if it was, there's no toggle here, there's no anything to say that it would have been tied down to anything like that, so it would have hung loose anyway, wouldn't it? So really, all that's needed in order to recreate one of these would be, I think, to have that amount of you know, sort of material, so that it pulls together and you stitch it down to the outside. Yeah, and that's very small, isn't it? That really, that's going to take 12 balls, isn't it? 12 small lead balls. You know, about the size of marbles, basically. You know, maybe a little bit bigger sometimes. It depends. Yeah. So I think that's quite an easy thing to reproduce, that, isn't it? The other thing we can notice is it has got the 2 holes on the bottom there, and they're the things that commonly your primer flask would hang from. So that shows that the primer flask is different from the others. I suspect that this one here, I don't know if we can see the end of that. Is that a primer flask? Has that got a hole in the end there, that one? This end? Doesn't it?
Nope.
Ah, okay. I wondered if that was part of this collection, because this was the primer that would have hung from the from this purse, because that's where commonly they'd hang on the belt. This is a shoulder strap, by the look of it. So this is the thing that you would have put your musket on as you were marching along, because that would have taken the weight of your musket. So this bit would have been the part that goes over the shoulder. Yeah. I can measure the dimensions of that. Yeah.
Ruler's in front.
Ruler. Yep. And on the widest part, where it's sewn to the belt, we're looking at 10 centimetres. I suspect that they'd have done that in inches, so that would have been 4 inches, wouldn't it? You know, so it's not exactly 10 millimetres, 10 centimetres rather. That is just over 5.5, you know, 5.5 centimetres. So I suspect, again, I haven't got centimetres on inches on this ruler. I suspect that would have been 2 inches. So we're going basically from what, 4 inches down to 2 inches, aren't we, on there? And the length of these sides here is going to be, well, whatever it is to create. That's about 4.5 centimetres, and that's what, 5. I suspect that's probably 5 if I do it. That's 5 as well. So that's 5 and 5 really. So it's 2 inches, isn't it, really? So we're looking at 2, 2, 2 and 4, aren't we? And then if you look here, this should be butt sewn, I suspect. If you look here, you can see the stitching on this side, the shoulder side, and you can see the stitching on the belt side as well. And on the underside, if we can have a look at that, you'll probably find that that's been pulled tight, and this is pushed up against itself, you know, which is the common way to hand stitch leather together so that it butts up. Can you see that? Is there enough light? Is my torch there?
So it's been folded up like that.
Yeah. Yes, it sort of, but the stitching pulls it up a bit, like that, to sort of seal it, basically, at the shoulder. And that, of course, is your musket rest. Well, not a musket rest, as in terms of what sticks in the ground, but, you know, a shoulder support, basically. Yeah. Right. Now, the belt on this is very, very small, and the holes on this one are all in sequence. So that's the best way to describe it. All in one line, you know, rather than in tram lines like the others are. And they're in twos. You can see that they're not equally spaced. They're set in twos, aren't they? You know. So now obviously these parts here are broken off. I don't know what this is and how that's attached, but and there's a hole in this as well. So I don't know what these bits are, but they've obviously sort of broken off from here, haven't they? I think, you know, with use. Now this has actually got a hole in the bottom. This this bottle. And I imagine that hole is either a turning hole and doesn't go any further in, or it's a hole that's occurred and they thought, oh damn, we've blown that one, we'll leave that one in the collection because it's going to be useless. I really don't know. Yeah. But that looks very wood grainy, that. It doesn't look like that's coated in anything, and you can see the sharpness of the corners as well on that. So that one really doesn't seem to have been coated at all.
It's been painted, I think, because you can see some red.
That's a painted one. Oh, you see
Underneath
red,
it.
can you? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you think maybe it's had some red paint on it? Yeah. Ah. And then perhaps the blackening has come over the top of the red. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? That they were red, maybe. Yeah.
Red lead.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lead painting, yeah. And again, we can't really see the wood on that they've used there either. But the lid's obviously split on this one, so it's either the wrong lid or the, I don't know, time has spoiled
Look
it.
at the length of it, I bet it's just a tape to fit that.
Yeah.
It should be done.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just busted it open, isn't it? Yeah.
Because that's tapered as well, the outside's tapered.
Yeah.
So there's a fair bit, the inside's probably tapered to follow as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a kind of bung lid, really, in a way, isn't it? You know, well, the bottles are bung inside it. Yeah. I don't know. Can we pick this one up? We're okay. Oh, look at this one. Yeah? Is it? I'm just thinking about that hole in the bottom. Is it a turning hole, or is it? Does that hole go all the way through? Do you think?
No, it's plain.
It's just a turning hole, isn't it? Basically. Yeah.
Centre.
So that a centre hole on that. Yeah. I don't think we can take that lid off, can we? Because it's no. It's hard to tell the wood, isn't it, on that? No. It could split. But all the wood looks very similar, doesn't it, in colour? Whether it's just all wood weathers like that, I don't know.
The
350
ones that
years
have been
old.
used, they look pretty,
Yeah.
almost as they should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't pick any grain out.
Yeah.
at
No.
all, so it's-
No. No.